Now, one of the things that a lot of people overlook in their workout routines, especially people that are professionals, that are just putting together a workout routine for themselves. For example, you're just trying to stay in shape with what you got around the house. You got curl, you got maybe bench press, things like that. Just basic, simple exercises for weight training. One of the things most people overlook is grip strength and working the forearms, the wrists, and the fingers and such. And because I do blacksmithing, that's kind of important. Just working the forge on a regular basis, because you're using a hammer and you got the tongs, you're gonna build it up. I mean, it's gonna be there. Blacksmiths aren't particularly all that much stronger than anybody else on average when it comes to the general strength, but we got it on the ball when it comes to grip strength. Let me tell you, that was a provocative gesture there. So, one of the things that I did some digging around on was ways to enhance grip strength and wrist strength for the times, like, especially when I didn't have access to a forge, because until I got my own built during COVID, everybody was shut down. So I had to learn how to figure out how to keep my strength up when I didn't have hammer and tongs to work with. It's basically the principle that you see with farmers. When farmers have that just rock solid, like they were carved out of sinew or wood, physiques that there's almost, it's just pure muscle strength, but it's a lean muscle strength. It's like cable in there. The way they do that isn't by going to the gym and spending 2 hours roid raging their way through, 800 or 900 pounds. What it is it's a constant, non-stop use of those muscles in just daily tasks all the time. And so I wanted something I could do that with, both in my workout, but also I'm just sitting around faffing about on the internet, or when I got downtime playing a game. It gave me something that I could do to keep that up. And the trick that I learned was this. So when you're doing your regular curls, what you want to do is, instead of just cranking away at it, doing this bit, first of all, you never want to lift a weight fast. You want to do it slow and steady. You want to let it fall to the tips of your fingers, or as close as you can get. And from there, roll it up into a fist. Don't go too fast. Do it, again, like everything else, moderation. So you roll it up into your fist, and then you do your curl. Let it all the way back out. Roll it all the way to the fingertips again. Roll it in, bring it up, and just repeat that process. Steady, smooth, methodical, with rhythm, and work the muscles out in those groups. And what that does is it works out the full length of the hand. I've seen people use these little grip strength things. I even had one for a while. Didn't cut it for me. Took me a little while to figure out why, which is, when you're doing it, you're doing this. You're just squeezing. You're not actually rolling the hand in to make a fist. You're not actually doing this. Doing this exercise actually works that. It works the full length of it. Now, in addition to that, when you do a normal curl, you're primarily working the muscle groups here. Basically the bicep, this area here. And to some extent, some of the other muscle groups as well, but primarily it's going to be here and in the tendons here. Somewhat in the forearm, but not as much. Doing this, you start that workout all the way here. And every muscle group through this entire length of the arm that's normally neglected, it gets a nice little workout too, and you'll feel it. Trust me, the first few times you do it, you'll feel it. But you don't have to do it with heavy weights either. You can do it. This little 15-pounder my 12-year-old uses for her workouts, and this is perfect for sitting under. Okay, for me, you want to do like a 5 or 10-pounder or something like that. But same thing, just sit there under the desk while you're at work. If you're just reading something, and just, instead of doing a full curl, just roll it up in your hand like that. And then hold it for about 2 to 3 counts. Probably a 3 counts best. And then slowly let it back out. And you're just doing this almost subconsciously while you're sitting at the desk. And again, it's the same principle that you get with the farmer's workout. It's just constant use of those muscles, low grade, low impact, but regular use. It also builds up endurance. And then you get up to bigger weights and such. That's when you're able to really start cranking it out, And this is handy for a lot of different things, sports of various sorts, especially rock climbing. Holy crap, it's hell on wheels for rock climbers. Because what you want to do with that, with rock climbing, that grip strength that you get there allows you to grab onto, if you're using the regular walls like you have most gyms and such, little nodules sticking out, you can grip onto them pretty good and hold on. And if you've got a much higher, or say a much better strength to weight ratio, then you can just grip on and hang all day long. When you're a 280-pound bastard like me, I mean, I don't think any amount of grip strength short of cybernetic augmentation is going to do that. But it's also, I do HEMA, and I'm also, as anybody who watches my channel knows, I'm a huge AD&D geek, and I've never combined HEMA and my D&D geekery until recently, and I'm actually about to start getting into LARP. Both HEMA and LARPing, at least the ones you usually have here, like Beakerly and Heinefel, are focused on combat as opposed to stats. So what your actual real-world skill is what you're actually doing on the battlefield. And so with that, what you want to be focused on is your technique, but a lot of the fighting techniques you use, especially with sword and board, a lot of the shots are going to be snapshots. It's not brute force strikes like you see in the movies. That's all garbage done by shite choreographers. No, a lot of what you're going to be doing is snapshots, scorpion techniques, things like that. Mobility and agility of the wrist, but also strength of the wrist and grip strength are pretty pivotal to that. Being able to hang on to the weapon better than they are is kind of pivotal in that. A lot of other things, quarterstaff fighting. Hell, just good old-fashioned brawls. If you ever get into a fight in earnest, the ability to grab onto somebody and just hang on to them, you bounce them off a wall a few dozen times, well, that would look provocative right there. Or, I mean, hell, me, my general go-to, kind of hard to fight if you can't get oxygen. So getting a grip of the throat and cutting off their airway generally takes a fight out of somebody in about 10 to 15 seconds. Generally gets them to start being polite again pretty quick. All of that is based on grip strength. Whether you're fighting for fun or fighting for real, it's, again, that is a technique that stands handy. Aikido and a lot of other grappling martial arts, grip strength is vital. And you want to be able to have really good grip, really good strong wrist muscles also for punching, throwing any sort of jabs, crosses, things like that. Again, having strong reinforced wrists, because if you don't have, your hand's going to fold when you hit. Whereas if you have a good basis, you can throw a pretty good punch, get a solid impact, and keep that line of your forearm going into your fist and hit. Again, reinforcing those muscles and building them up. Also maintaining agility by stretching and such. Stretching is key. That's something that this exercise actually does a pretty damn good job at helping with. At least I've found. So anyway, oh yeah, one last thing. It's also handy for when you've got kids. Because when they're getting out of hand and about to Darwin themselves out into the world and go see their ancestors, it's handy to grab the belt and just yank them out or whatever they're getting themselves into. Speaking of... Alright, you wee monkeys.